And that means that all of you are Redditors, and I'm not. That means you're little Reddit babies.
Saying the person who's literally scrolling Reddit. You're literally scrolling Reddit. What are you talking about? I thought this video was a month old because that's when it popped up on my recommended. But apparently it's a year old, this video, which means the post it is about is also a year old. So it's kind of an outdated topic. But since I've prepared for it anyway, well, prepared. I've wanted to do to bring it up on stream anyway. I'm gonna do it. Yep, it is an Am I the Asshole post. So, in case you don't know, this is MBT, you know, good friend of the channel, good friend and sponsor of the channel, MBT. And I saw this clip of him reading an Am I the Asshole post on Reddit and responding to it, giving his opinion. All right. And I really wanted to share my 2 cents. So, to start, I'm just going to read the post myself. He reads it himself in the video, but I'm going to skip that part and I'm going to read it myself because I already feel dirty doing like a reaction type of video. Okay? So I'm going to try to do as much as I can on my own. So, am I the asshole for being honest with my girlfriend when she asked the question about the birthday cake she made me? All right? I, a 34 male, had a birthday just yesterday, and my girlfriend, 36 female, offered to bake me a cake. I told her that I would prefer a chocolate cake. Devil's food, whatever that means, with chocolate icing and nothing fancy. She's usually a great baker, and I guess she thought that wasn't sophisticated enough or something. She baked me a chocolate cake with vanilla icing between the 2 layers of cake, then surrounding in chocolate frosting. I think he meant surrounding it with chocolate frosting. Okay, so he wanted just a plain chocolate cake for his birthday. His girlfriend spiced it up more. You know, she added vanilla and such, and made it more layered, it sounds like. The cake was fine, but I was disappointed because it was not what I wanted. She must have noticed and asked me if I was disappointed. So I was honest with her. Yes, I was disappointed. It wasn't the cake I asked for, I said. If I wanted vanilla in a cake, I would have asked for vanilla in the cake. Let's scroll through to see the rest of the post. I didn't make a scene. I didn't pout. I even ate half of a slice. The chocolate part. I even ate half of a slice. The chocolate part. She got upset with me and said, "But I've made vanilla cake before and you liked it." I pointed out that I don't mind vanilla icing, but it's not what I wanted for my birthday. Her feelings were hurt, and she even pulled a "I'm not going to make you any cake next year," which I replied with, "I will order my own and get my money back if they don't do it like I want it." Apparently, that was the last straw. She asked me to leave, later texted me that I embarrassed her in front of her kids, and now she won't reply to my messages. So she has kids. I don't know if they are his kids as well, but okay, that's another thing. I think birthdays are important things, and I feel like I was honest with her when she asked me. I didn't want to lie about it. My friend told me I should have been grateful that she made me a cake at all, especially one that I've eaten and liked in the past. Maybe I overreacted a bit, though I don't feel like I did, and hope to get a second opinion. Am I the asshole here? I want you, first of all, to tell me what you think. All right, so we already have one person claiming that the OP, the original poster, is the asshole. Mm. 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 What do you think, Flying Sonic? Oh, he wanted a simple chocolate cake, but okay. All right. So, one says he is the asshole, the other says he's not the asshole. Let's hear what a good friend of the channel, MBT, has to say.
In the past. Maybe I overreacted a bit, though I don't feel like I did, and I hope to get a second opinion. Am I the asshole here? I am going to say no. I think that he's right. I think, okay, let me rephrase.
I think he's out of his damn mind. What do you mean? But I let him speak.
This. He was an asshole insofar as he said, I'll order my own and get my money back if they don't do it like I want it. That is a ridiculous thing to say. You should not be saying that to.
That was the cherry on top of the unwanted cake. He was already way out of line beforehand. But I agree that was like the worst thing, the peak of how bad he got.
Someone that you love. But outside of that, I think he's not wrong. Yeah, then importantly, as soon as I told this to Jillian, she immediately said, oh no, he is 100% not in the wrong.
Jillian is his girlfriend. Okay, this guy's girlfriend. How? No, the lady in the story is 100% in the right. Like, it's insane. I'm sorry, Flying Sonic. You're just wrong. No, he is an asshole, and I'll explain why in a moment. He is.
She is fervently in his corner. Hello, peeps.
All right, you ready for my and my wife's basic
This is someone else who just came in to give their opinion, a friend of his?
opinion on this?
Yes.
You are correct.
Well, so let me be clear. When I first introduced this I was hanging out with Spencer and Jillian. I introduced it to them. They both said the man is in the right before I disclosed my position. And they were really in his corner. I'm kind of in his corner. I think he's a jerk.
I'm gonna wait.
And
I'm gonna wait to let him explain why he thinks the man is right, and then I'll explain why that's stupid.
He was mean to her for no reason.
Yeah, the additional comment there, that was a bit much.
And sometimes on Am I the Asshole, you can kind of get a peek into the lives of these people. Am I the asshole for being honest with my girlfriend? No, that's not what the problem here is. But I think that if you ask someone for something specific and they make something different and then they get upset, then that's on them.
Yeah, and it's, the thing is, I'm not even saying that, she was, frequently when people have this discussion, a lot of people think, am I the asshole and is the other person in the wrong? People have a discussion of, who's in the wrong here, right? And that's just not a really good way to look at relationship conflict in the first place.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Okay, so the point that he made here was that the guy is in the right because he asked for a very specific thing, and the woman was in the wrong because she didn't do the exact thing he asked for. And when you put it like that, I guess I can see how you view it like that. But it's a birthday cake. All right? When he said, I just want a plain simple chocolate cake, she likes him so much, she wanted to do something nice for him so much, she probably thought he was just asking for something easy so he doesn't bother her. So she went out of her way to sort of make it fancier. She still made a chocolate cake. She just made it fancier. She added vanilla icing in the middle. And it's not like he hated vanilla icing, because he says later in the story that it's a cake that he's eaten before and he liked before. So she decided, oh, he just wanted a simple chocolate cake, and He probably didn't want to bother me, but I'm gonna go out of my way to make it more special for him on his birthday. And she made she put some more effort into it, and in return he pouts. He says it's not like I was pouting, but she clearly noticed that he was upset and he didn't like it, and she asked him about it, to which he said yes. So he was clearly sulking. He must have been sulking, or at least acting like unimpressed. It's not that they've picked the wrong gift. That's not their point. They're saying is that someone asked you what you want, you tell them what you want, but they don't get you exactly what you wanted. In this case, she didn't give him something completely separate. She gave him what he asked for. She just tried making it more special, you know?
Mesh with the Updoots program.
That's true. So, you know, I think in a relationship, the thing you want to strive for is being as communicative of your feelings as you can possibly be, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I've done things that made my wife upset, or have done things that she didn't specifically ask for, and I've been like, oh, well, I'm not like, oh, how dare you? Like, I did this nice thing. And it's like, yeah, but it's not like what I wanted. It's not what I asked you to do, right? And in this case, it's like, yeah, it's about a cake, but this can be like being a, you know, you want to communicate how you feel, and it's like, okay, well, if you didn't do what I asked you to do, or I didn't like ask for this, right? Then I don't know, it's very natural to be like, okay, this is, you know, I would have preferred this because it's what I asked for.
Okay. I understand what they're talking about in terms of communication. And in my virgin Volcel opinion about relationships, is that if you're going to be in a relationship with someone, yes, you need to be able to be open with communications with them, so that a mistake like this rarely happens, where, you know, you're pretending like you don't want to bother them or whatever, and they try to go out of their way. But also at the same time, small little gestures, you know, that you didn't ask for are also nice. However, this could have all been avoided if he like clearly stated, if let's say I genuinely, for my birthday, I only wanted a plain chocolate cake with no frills, no anything special on it. That's really, really what I wanted. I would say, hey, I would really prefer if it was just a simple chocolate cake. And I'm not just saying that because, you know, I don't want to bother you or anything. I just really like the simple cake. I prefer it over anything else. Yeah, also that detail being so important to him is also annoying. At the end of the day, it's a goddamn cake for your birthday. You're already on thin ice for me by celebrating birthdays and putting so much emphasis on it. I hate birthdays and weddings and such events that how do I describe this? It's very self-serving. It's all about my special day. It's my special day today. And I want everything to be perfect for me. And it's like, most of the time, these events, like example the birthday, it's not like an accomplishment. You didn't earn anything. You're just being entitled for the sake of existing. And never mind the fact that he did all of this in front of her kids. He's acting more childish than the children.
And that, as the other person, it's like, oh, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry about that. I should have. You know, I can understand why you're disappointed. Like, I don't know. Thinking about this, it's like people. It's easy to be like, oh, well, this is a cake. You know, he shouldn't have been that mad. It's a cake.
Yes, it's a cake.
You know, but it's like, well.
And he went out of his way to not eat. He said, "Oh, I even ate half a slice, the chocolate half." Like, come on. Was it going to kill you to eat the vanilla? You eat a vanilla cake usually. You're refusing to eat it because you're acting like a child. You know, your nuggets and your mashed potato touched, and so now you're pouting and you don't want to eat them. You're just gonna eat the parts that didn't touch. Come on.
Yeah, I guess, but like,
no,
specifically, I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna do this for chat because I feel like a lot of chat has a problem. Chat, you are entitled to things that you like. I'm sorry.
Let him continue.
Sorry, yeah. It doesn't make you a baby. You are entitled to get things that you like.
It does make you a baby if you throw a fit because you didn't get the exact type of cake you wanted for your birthday, you know? Classic child boo boo goo gaga behavior.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Especially if the person giving them to you is someone you intend to spend the rest of your life with.
That you could communicate, you could say like, okay, you could here's what you should do. Okay? You be appreciative, say thank you, don't say a goddamn word or show any sign of being not appreciative of it. All right? Eat the goddamn cake. All right? It's still sugar and flour for the most part. Okay? Make her feel like you appreciate the effort and time she put into making you something nice for your birthday. All right? And the fact that she did something special more than what you asked, she probably was thinking of it as like a little surprise for you. Be appreciative. Then later on, sometime later or shortly before your next birthday, communicate it more clearly. Say that while her fancy cakes or whatever are nice, you really, really like the simple ones. You're not saying that to, you know, not bother her or make her work extra on an extra fancy cake. You just really prefer the simple ones. If she wants to make you the happiest, she makes you the simple one, and that works. And if the biggest issue in the communication that you have is the cake thing, then god damn it, just eat the wrong type of cake. Okay? You don't throw and act like a petty child during the birthday where you eat only half of a slice and it's only the chocolate half. And you act pouty and disappointed, and to the point that she picks up on it and she asks you. And then you say what you said in front of the children. Come on.
Yeah.
The thing you gotta the way Jillian was talking to me about it is she was like, and I've seen it happen in front of me, there are hundreds of times where a family member will be like, I'm going to do this for you. And she says, oh, I don't want you to. I would like X done a very specific way. You know, I want a very specific thing. And they go, no, I'm going to do it for you anyway. They do it. And then she doesn't like it. And they go, why are you upset? And she'll go, well, it's not done the way that I wanted. And they go, why are you not being grateful? And then it becomes like, it's not a thing they are doing for you. It's a thing that they are doing for you to validate them.
Yes.
And
boom.
Okay. This is a very good point, and I understand what he's talking about because I experienced something very similar. Okay? A very common thing that happens to me with my own family is, for example, this is just one example that probably applies to this. All right? Is they always bring me gifts of clothes. All right, just shirts. A lot of the time it's shirts, but sometimes it's pants as well. Just whenever they go to a store and they see like a good deal on shirts, they'll buy a bunch for themselves, of course, and then they'll buy shirts for me. And the next time they see me, that, you know, they'll make me wear them, try them on, and try to give me a bunch of shirts. Now, me, I don't like to wear a lot of different types of clothes. I pretty much have the one outfit that I wear every day. I even have like I buy multiple copies of the same shirt and multiple copies of the same pants, and now it's just black with black shirt and black pants, and that's what I wear. I have a couple that I wear when I want to go to the university or I want to go somewhere outside, and I have a couple that are for the gym. All right, and plus whatever other old shirts that I have that feel comfortable, I also can take them to the gym as well. But usually I'm just wearing black on black. It makes it easier for me. I know that they're comfortable. These shirts are comfortable. They fit me well. They look nice, and I don't have to think about what I'm going to wear in the morning when I wake up and I need to go to university. I just put on my long fit. It's called the long fit, I believe, where it's a longer shirt that covers, reaches halfway down my butt, and it doesn't look as goofy as it sounds. It looks really clean, and I wear some black sweatpants. Okay. And I just put on a jacket or whatever I need to, depending on the weather, and I just go to my class. It's easy, it's clean, and I get criticized for this behavior by my family a lot. They say that I should change for whatever, but I can get that it's boring and that I should probably start experimenting with clothing now, but I do not have the time. And whenever they see me, they keep giving me new clothes for multiple years now. They've either sent me or given me clothes. And every time they do, I tell them I really, really do not want any more clothes. The first few times, all right, I said, oh, thank you, but I really don't need any more clothes, so I'll try to use these, but in the future, and no, really thank you for this, but I'd prefer if in the future you do not get me any more clothes, because I really my locker, my wardrobe is full with clothes that I haven't worn yet, and that's true. The first time around, they were like, yeah, okay, but come again next time, they still brought me clothes and they still sent them to me or made me take them, and it's become more and more of an issue over time. Or I said, like, I literally, my wardrobe is full of new clothes that you gave me that I never wear, and they're always saying, no, but you need some variety, you should wear some variety of clothes. And I'm like, I get that it would be nice for me to wear a variety of clothes, but all I do is go to the university every day, either university and gym. Sometimes I go to work. I really do not need all of this variety. Okay, I don't need 50 shirts to cycle through. And sometimes, while we don't really fight over it, hello, Genocide, by the way. I just realized what your name is a pun for. Anyway, it's not like we get a fight, but we do get into a somewhat debate where I'm like, oh, I told you multiple times I don't need any more clothes. It's at the point where my wardrobe is full, and they still give me clothes. So now I have like a bag, like a gym bag full of clothes that I just have it laying out in the living room because I have nowhere to put the clothes in. And I never touch the clothes. So I understand what he's saying, but there's a far cry from that, all right, and the situation here. It's a very different thing. I get his point of what he said here applies to what I just explained, the example that I gave, I think, where they're every time they see me, they want to give me a gift, and they always default to clothes, which it's a good gift. Clothes is a good gift depending on the person. I just don't wear many different types of clothes, and what he says applies to this situation, but it doesn't apply to the cake. Come on.
Boom, that's exactly right.
And it's like,
that is exactly right.
I just like, and it's like, why aren't you happy that like, if you go to fucking Burger King and they put pickles on your burger and you said no pickles, like, you'll be kind of pissed about it, right? You probably won't make a scene. And this guy was like, I didn't make a scene.
But he did make a scene. He said I didn't make a scene, but he did make a scene. We can tell from his girlfriend's reaction that he did make a scene. He said he didn't make a scene, so he doesn't seem like an asshole for the post. But his the cake was fine, but I was disappointed because of not what I wanted. And she must have noticed. How did she notice that you were disappointed? Huh? Were you really so massively dejected that your chocolate cake was a chocolate and vanilla cake? That she couldn't help but notice? Or were you being a pouty little child?
Difference is, you know, it's someone you care about, so everyone's like, oh, you know, give her a break. It's someone you care about, right?
Yes.
Like, if it's someone you really care about, you would think that they would listen when you said no pickle.
That's the other thing. Yeah, it's also about listening too. And like, I don't know, you should have listened when your partner requested what they like. You want to validate your partner's like wants and, you know, requests, and like show that you have the capacity to actively listen to them.
Okay.
You want to weigh on?
It goes both ways. You need to validate also the effort that your partner put into this. I just realized the difference between the speed of the chat is going for him. I was looking on my viewer here to see if someone said anything in chat. I was like, oh god damn, the chat was really going on fast, and then I really realized I was looking at his, not mine.
And this, Mariah, what's it?
Yeah, I feel like it's about making them feel heard.
Yes.
Right?
See?
We all want.
I've even got my wife's perspective on it.
If it happened multiple times, then I can understand him bringing it up at some point. But it happening only once and him acting like a child is what makes him an asshole mostly. Setting aside that he's being a child about a birthday. Out of all things.
My wife is always right, therefore I'm right.
This is the other thing. I will if you have a girlfriend and you like doing things for her, I like doing things for my girlfriend. Then you may be, especially early in your relationship, you may think when she says something like I want X, what she means is I want X, but also like I want it like super fancy and all this extra shit too. And they don't.
Yeah.
They want X. I've done a lot of things like that where I'm like, I'm going to go above and beyond. And then they're like, oh, well, I did not want that.
Well, he didn't. If it happened before, he would have mentioned it. You think he wouldn't have said that this is like the third time this has happened?
Yeah. You know someone that knows how to communicate.
Yeah.
Like, no one that's like playing games.
Right. The thing is, this is all about communication is the biggest thing. And that's why, you know, you'll hear a lot of, this is the last thing I'll say before I'll let you get back to stream. Welcome to Relationship Advice Hour with Peeps, who's only had one marriage. So, you know that this
so
is good,
far,
right?
You know,
yeah,
Well, who are you gonna take the opinion of? Someone who's married? Or a 25-year-old virgin incel, basically? Well, not an incel, I'm voluntarily celibate. Who do you think knows more about relationships, huh?
Anything could happen.
So far, no. So it frequently relationships.
Oh, you're gonna take the guy who's married, the opinion of the guy who's married? Argument from fallacy, argument from authority fallacy.
End. And the reason people will say is because like, oh, we just didn't communicate, or the communication was bad. You know, the two partners didn't know how to communicate with each other. That's very frequently a thing that couples go to couples therapy for. As a matter of fact, like couples therapy skills, a lot of it is helping each other learn how to actually communicate.
Okay. I'm sure that's true for a lot of relationships, but it also feels, at least to me, this is complete, you know, a total guess, blind guess on my part, but I think a significant amount of relationships that end where the people say it was due to lack of or bad communication or lack of communication, I think that it was not due to that. It was due to one or both of them being a bitch. Okay? one of the two was being one of the two, at least one of the two, it could be both parties, were being a massive bitch to the other. All right, where there were legitimate problems in their relationship besides poor communication, and just poor communication is something nice that they can claim at the end of the relationship, so that blame does not have to be put on one person or the other. You know, it's a way to placate both parties and make the breakup a bit more amicable. It's like when you're breaking up with someone and you tell them, "Oh, it's not you, it's me," even though it's probably them, but you just didn't want to hurt their feelings. So, like, probably, I feel like a marriage counselor would probably default to poor communication to not take sides. Yeah, I agree, Flying Sonic, but I also think it shouldn't have been that big of a deal anyway.
And I know what sounds a little bit ridiculous to get this big of a point out of a discrepancy about cake. But
yes,
cake
it is ridiculous.
Of a bigger problem, right?
Excuse me, slippery slope fallacy. Go full Reddit mode for the post. But if it becomes something, pick your battles. All right, you need to know to pick your battles, or don't even make it a battle. Be nice about it later on.
Person in the relationship requested a thing.
You're probably right, Flecky. It was probably not about the point. I think the guy is just childish. He was like a spoiled kid or whatever. If I had to guess, I think the guy was just like a spoiled brat. Okay, and or like a insanely picky eater, and that's what the issue here is. Doesn't mean whatever his issue is. It doesn't. I don't think it absolves him from being the asshole.
Jillian pointed out in this one how this interaction went down, which was she made this guy leave his own birthday and then texted and said, "You embarrassed me in front of my kids." And it's like, no, dude, you did that.
Okay. What? I'll let him continue.
You kicked this guy out of his own birthday and then you were like, and probably the kids were then like, where is he going? Right?
Yeah.
Well, okay. First of all, it sounds like his birthday was just him, his girlfriend, and her kids getting together and eating some cake. All right? It's not like they were throwing a party and they had guests over and she kicked him out of it. All right? They were having like family dessert and he was pouting like a child in front of the kids. Ooh. There's a book by Stephanie Stahl that pretty much pinpoints this in one of its early chapters. What's the title of the book? Stephanie Stahl. Because that would be a good retort to the smart ass one. But what was I saying?
And it's like, you know, I feel like that's kind of on you, right?
No, it's not. She didn't embarrass herself by making him a chocolate and vanilla cake for him on his birthday when he asked for a chocolate cake. What are you talking? He embarrassed her by acting like a child in front of her children, being unappreciative, and when she asked him about it, that he not only told her that he didn't appreciate the cake that she made, but then also said the next time I'll order it. You know, the last comment about him ordering it next time and he can return the cake if they don't do what he wanted to. The child in you.
Yeah, no, I would agree.
I do get a lot of people are like, if you care this much about birthdays, you're a baby. If you care this much about
yes,
a third strip of icing in your already chocolate on chocolate cake, you're a baby.
Yes.
I think this is just about hope.
No, you do. You are a baby if you care about all of these things. Don't try to make it deeper than that. Okay, it doesn't really, at the end of the day, it doesn't. It's cake. It's empty calories. Okay, and it tastes good. It's not like she brought him carrot cake. Like, okay, if he asked for a chocolate cake, all right, and she ordered for him something completely different. Let's say she ordered for him a sugarless fruitcake or something, or sugarless cake, or like some healthy alternative that's not cake at all, something like that. Then I would understand, like, okay, why did you do that? I clearly asked for one thing and you gave me something else entirely. I'd still not make as much of a scene about it, but I can at least understand it more. Here, he wanted a chocolate cake. He got a chocolate and vanilla cake. And you're trying to make it out like this is symptomatic of his girlfriend's unwillingness to listen or take his opinion seriously over her own wants and needs. What? Why?
Hoping that the person you intend to spend the rest of your life with listens to you. I think that you are allowed to be a little birthday boy on your birthday and a little.
No, you're not. Nope.
And
absolutely not.
Unfortunately, I also think that like the guy is a jerk. I think he sucks.
Yes.
That the comments he made at the end were not good. But if it would have stopped like there, like if he didn't if he says. Basically, if it doesn't escalate to the point where he makes a snooty, snide comment, then like he would have been in the right. But he's like, again, it's not.
He was in the wrong way earlier than that.
That way.
That was again just the cherry on top of the cake.
You think it's
pun intended
to care that much about your birthdays or to have a partner care that much about their birthday?
Yes, it is.
Or if you think it's juvenile that you did something that your partner did not ask for, you're going to have some relationship trouble and you're going to learn why we're saying what we're saying.
Jillian, I will say, if I make a dish that she usually likes with like something new in it that I think she will like, occasionally she will just not eat it. Even if it's something that she likes
especially if they need it that much. I think one is allowed to be a happy little birthday kid, especially if they need it that much. Do you mean like they have some issues, and it's one of their coping mechanisms to be a little birthday boy? I don't know. Maybe. See, I don't like when people make their unresolved issues or traumas everyone else's problem. All right? Like, you were not how can I say this and be as crass about it as possible? That, let's say someone has daddy issues, all right? Don't fucking take it out on me, all right? Resolve it with your dad or with yourself. If someone has issues with their siblings, or let's say like a bully comes to school, and beats the shit out of me every day, and then I discover like, oh, you can't really blame him. It's because at home he has an abusive father, and his way of taking it out, his way of like coping with it is regaining some of the power by bullying other kids in school. Makes him feel strong. No, fuck you. I'm still gonna curb stomp your ass with the first chance I get. I'm not gonna be like, if I feel kind, I might try to be kind for you if I like discovered your background. But you're not entitled to kindness for your shitty behavior, even if your shitty behavior, even if I know the context of your shitty behavior. It contextualizes it, but it doesn't justify it. Okay? I had many bullies when I was a kid. All right? And I know why they were bullies. All right? I knew exactly the issue that they had. at home. They all shared a very similar issue because it was like a widespread societal what do you call it, phenomena or issue that was widespread in the area, and to the point where I believe we studied about, I don't know if it was on the curriculum, but I think our social studies teacher brought it up one time. Okay? And I'm sorry, just because your parents neglected you, all right? I'm not going to sit here and be the target of your goddamn racism and bullying. Okay? I don't have to hear shit from you. Now, a lot of the time I'd like just not engage with the bullies anyway, just because it was for my own benefit, not to escalate things any further. But when things escalated, I was not going to be like, well, I know the issues they're having at home, so, you know, and I'll try to become their therapist as they're trying to shove me in a locker. No, I smacked the guy in the jaw and almost fucking killed him. Just be crass.
Other dishes. And I originally I was like the wife here. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then I was like, no, she likes what she likes. She's got food sensitivities about certain things and not about others. And,
yeah, if he was sensitive, or if he was allergic, that would be something else.
How hard is it for me to just accommodate that?
Yeah, right.
It's that meme. Have you ever seen that meme where it's like one guy goes like, holy shit, 2 cakes? It's literally that meme. Well, almost similar.
I don't know. There's a lot that can be said about this. I think this is super interesting. But anyway, I gotta hold my.
The other thing I will say is I think it's.
Where I relate.
Okay, let's put it like this. Imagine someone's parents always forgot that certain cheese or sausage they loved so much, feeling forgotten or neglected. Okay, I get what you mean, and yeah, it probably sucks as a child. So it is very specific little things they're sensitive about, probably without even realizing themselves that they're an adult. Yeah, I can see that. I can totally see that. I understand. I don't know how much it would apply here because it's about a cake. So unless his parents were nice enough to get him a cake every birthday or every event, but not nice enough to remember what type of cake he prefers. Plus, and I don't think this is the case, but it could be. There's a non-zero chance that it could be, since there were children during this party. Okay, the mother could have may have made the cake like that because some of her children are extra picky about the food and they prefer the cake like that, done like that. In which case, then it would totally be justified, in my opinion. All right. He's an adult. He likes both of them. I don't think that's the case, so I should probably not bring it up, but... And they put something on the grocery list and the parents forgot it. Yeah, I can see that. But I think it's more likely that he's just a spoiled brat, honestly. Like, it could be what you're saying. I'm just going to go with that he was just spoiled. But it could be what you said. But I like to assume the worst in people. Because I'd rather be pleasantly surprised than be disappointed. An example, something similar that happens to me is... Actually, do I want to say this? Because it'll reveal a little bit about my family. I don't know if I want to say this. Probably better not to.
In general, posting it to Reddit is bad, and so as a result, everyone involved will go to hell when they die.
No, yeah. The poster will go to hell.
You caught yourself there.
It's not like they all posted it together. It's just the guy, again, which is another point to our point that he's the asshole.
Anyway, all right, enjoy your stream.
Yeah, bye. This one's, again...
Hello, Benny.
I think both of them are assholes. For sure.
Anyway, if that was all it took to end this relationship, then both of them are stupid. Yeah.
He liked the cake before?
I don't know if both of them are stupid. I don't know the rest of the. If it's like a new relationship, if they're, you know, if it's like less than a year, you know, if it's a few months relationship, then I can totally see why the woman after this would reconsider wanting to be in a long-term relationship with someone like who would make such a fuss over such a small thing. You know, imagine if they had a miscommunication over something just even slightly more important. How would the guy handle it? How would the guy decide to communicate that? So I totally understand if she wanted to break it off. And if, again, I think the guy's at fault here completely.
Dude is right, but he said a shitty thing at the end. No, he said a shitty thing at the end. The title is shitty. So I think that he is an asshole and a jerk. But
I think it just reinforces I think the biggest thing that he's not picking up on is how the guy is downplaying how he acted or how he reacted to the cake. All right. I think from his perspective, he thinks that the guy reasonably took his girlfriend aside and was explained to her calmly like, oh, while I really appreciate the effort you put into the cake, I would have preferred if I would have really preferred that you listened to what I said earlier on and just gave me a simple chocolate cake. And to that she reacted like, oh, how come you don't appreciate what I give you? Or whatever, and that's what caused the kerfuffle. But no, he clearly was like, when he saw the vanilla cake, he was like, oh, okay. He sat, and then he started eating. He ate like small bites, very small pieces, and very slowly in front of the kids, while not making eye contact with anyone. And then she noticed and she like asks him, oh, is there something wrong? Does it feel like there's something wrong? It's like, well, I asked you for a chocolate cake. Why did you make this? I think that's how it went, and I think that's what he's not picking up on, because he tries to downplay it here, all right, by saying like, the cake was fine, but I was disappointed because it was not what I wanted. She must have noticed. No, she didn't just notice. You were acting like a child. I bet that's the case.
Okay, I've found the Reddit thread. 10K upvotes. That's how you know it's good. Did you actually fumble a relationship over vanilla frosting? You are the asshole.
Yes!
One, amazing.
Correct take.
It's wild, right? Just took a flamethrower to it. But I also really want to know why she made this cake after he told her the exact cake he wanted. What was the thought process here? That's legitimately like, that's where I am. I'm like, but why?
Okay, because she's a baker, from what we get from the story. And people who are, I don't want to say professional, but into something, and when they're asked, when you're into doing something, let's say baking, or maybe you're an artist and you're into drawing, or whatever else, you start to learn that certain things are more difficult than other things. Like maybe baking certain types of cakes is more difficult than baking another type of cake. Like there are some cakes that are simple to bake, very easy and straightforward. Other types of cakes that are more complex and difficult to make. Same thing with art. Maybe some types of art, some pieces are very easy to knock out, to draw, and some pieces of art are more difficult to draw. All right. And I think at some point you might forget to look at it from this perspective of someone who's not into that hobby, who's just in it for the final result, and you, in your mind, more effort translates to more better. Okay. So maybe the cake that he asked for would have been way too easy for her to make. So she felt like it would not be enough. you know, would not be good enough for him. So she decided to make the closest cake to that also takes a bit more effort. Because that's what it sounded like from the description of the cake. You know, it takes a bit more effort to make multiple layers with different types of frosting, and then having it all, what did it say, surrounded by the chocolate frosting. So she wanted to put more effort in it, to put more effort into the cake, thinking that he would appreciate, if he likes this, you know, more simpler cake, he would like, you know, the more difficult to make version of it. Completely missing the point that he really just likes the taste of the simple cake more than the taste of the more complicated cake, irrelevant of how difficult it is. Same thing with drawing, you know. Yes, drawing hands might be very difficult and, you know, a skill that needs a lot of practice. But sometimes a piece of art doesn't need hands in it, or maybe adding, like, I can't pose my hands. I forget I'm paralyzed from the neck down. But you get what I mean. You get what I mean. Also, using Reddit in light mode.
A lot of people in here are saying he's the asshole, and that means that all of you are Redditors, and I'm not. That means you're little Reddit babies.
Saying the person who's literally scrolling Reddit. You're literally scrolling Reddit. What are you talking about?
These people.
This man. This very, very white man. Okay, why did I say white like that? Should probably set pasty or something. It just legitimately feels like a racial attack on him. Get some melanin, like me.
Jesus Christ, it was mostly chocolate. Stop being a fucking baby.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yes.
That's the thing. Like, if you've had, like, relatives or something who will do something just a little wrong, and then they'll go, why can't you be happy for me about the fact that I did this? You know exactly what this response is like.
Again, with the clothes example, I think that's more closer to what he's trying to say here. The clothes example that I gave earlier. Okay, I'll give the example that I wanted to give earlier, but I didn't. All right, I'll dox this piece of information about myself. I have a mother. Okay, or at least I've had a mother at one point. I'll not make any claims as to if she is with us right now or not. Okay? I had a mother. I may still actually have a mother now. But now that that piece of information is about me is revealed, when I was a kid, you know, and when we were all kids, my mother used to cook for us. Right? Okay. And some foods she cooked for me, I liked very, 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 very much. All right. Some foods I was like kind of nah about, you know, like I don't like, I'd eat them, I'd like them. They're not really my favorites, but I didn't hate them either. And there are some foods that I just did not like at all. Like completely did not like. Totally and completely. I just could not stand them. All right. And as I grew up, I got to spend less and less time with my family and with my mother. All right. And so I'd get to eat less and less with them. It got to the point where meeting up with my mother and having a home-cooked meal is something that's very rare. And whenever that happened, whenever this rare occasion started to happen, you know, where I get to meet up with my mother and she'd be able to cook something for me, she'd go out of her way to cook all the dishes, all right, that she remembers I liked, all right. And sometimes I feel like she misremembers some dishes. Some dishes that used to be on my, I'm fine with them. They're not really my favorites, but I don't hate them. She misremembers them as some of my favorite dishes. All right. And whenever she got the chance, she'd cook them for me alongside with other dishes. She'd cook a lot of different things, whenever she has the chance. And you know what I do not do when she does that? When she cooks me, she's like, "Oh, I've made you your favorite, do you miss eating this specific dish?" And I do not go, actually, it was not really one of my favorites. I've told you this multiple times as a kid. It's fine. I eat it. Or even if I hated it, even if it was one of the dishes I hate, I wouldn't say I hate it. I'd be like, "Oh, yes, thank you." I don't have the heart to tell her anymore. Just be happy. Like, "Oh, yes, it is very good. Thank you very much. I've missed this." And I'll eat it. And most of the time, it's good. It's more than good. Like the average, the mediocre home-cooked meal from your, from your parents feels better than like an amazing restaurant meal. At least when you're older.
You stated a preference, not a specific request. No!
Yes!
That's not what happened! If you wanted something specific, say, "I want this." That's what he did! What is going on here? Point of order, chocolate icing sucks. We all know chocolate icing sucks.
Chocolate!
Right?
What is wrong with you? How can you be completely... The one thing you agree with Reddit on is the wrong thing. What's wrong with chocolate icing?
But then you also shouldn't say that last thing.
You shouldn't act like a bitch about it from the first part to begin with. Really, my speech capabilities just take like a 50% hit whenever I press the start streaming button. I just